More than 170 years ago, the groundbreaking invention of the electric light bulb marked a momentous milestone, ushering in an era of safety, extended waking hours, and the introduction of electricity into our lives. However, the transformative brilliance of lights has birthed a formidable challenge: light pollution. As the radiance of modernity bathes our cities, it has inadvertently blinded us in unexpected ways. In this video, prepare to delve into the consequences of a world saturated with artificial light. Join us on a journey to rekindle your connection with the cosmos, uncovering the profound impact of light pollution on our health, wildlife, and the very essence of our universe. Stay tuned for a compelling exploration into the hidden dimensions of a world drowning in brilliance.
I have never ever seen anything like this, obviously.
We're having an earthquake, relax.
It was a magnitude 6.6 earthquake.
In 1994, Los Angeles was hit by a strong earthquake. It caused chaos on the streets and a blackout. During the blackout, many people called observatories and even 911. They did it not because the earth was shaking, but because they saw a giant silvery cloud in the sky. That cloud was, in fact, the Milky Way. Countless stars they had never seen before. Light pollution, the over-illumination of cities and night skies, is caused by an abundance of lights emitting in unintended directions. The 19th century invention of electric light was a genuine revolution, and over a century later, it is hard to imagine a life without it. However, today, more than 80% of the world's population live under light-polluted skies. In Singapore, for example, nights have become so bright that people's eyes now struggle to adapt to real darkness. Scientists like Christopher Kaiba are describing the introduction of artificial light as one of the most dramatic changes humans made to the biosphere. He says that throughout evolution, there was a constant signal coming from the environment that tells us that this is daytime and this is nighttime. In areas that experience strong light pollution, that signal has been dramatically changed. Scientists estimate that our planet is becoming 2% brighter every year, with the consequences of that increase growing ever more visible. Now, have you ever seen the Milky Way with your naked eye? You might be surprised to know that a recent study showed that 1/3 of the world's population will never get to see the Milky Way with a naked eye. If this doesn't make you sad, you have totally lost your connection with the universe, didn't you? You may haven't heard much about it yet. But light pollution doesn't merely conceal stars, it seriously affects our health and the environment. The impacts of light pollution are far-reaching. It disrupts wildlife, impacts human health, wastes money and energy, contributes to climate change, and blocks our view of the universe. Excessive light disrupts sleep cycles, damages eyesight, and may even contribute to health issues, including cancer. Sea turtles, relying on moonlight to reach the sea, often fall victim to city lights, never finding their way.
The understood case of blue light causing an issue in wildlife is with the sea turtles, which are very much endangered. And sea turtles lay their eggs on beaches, and when the hatchlings come out of the shell, they find their way to the sea by looking for moonlight reflecting on the waves. And what we're finding now is in these built-up areas that have LED street lighting, the hatchlings are turning around and going towards the streets rather than going to the sea, and of course they're losing their lives. And it's quite drastic because the sea turtles are endangered, and even if there's about 10,000 eggs laid on one beach, only less than 100 will actually make it to full adulthood. And it's something I've experienced firsthand in a place called Kabak in Turkey, which I visit every year. And 10, 20 years ago, there was virtually nothing in this valley, but now as tourism has boomed, there are more campsites and hostels and hotels, and it's starting to glow like a small city at night. And the sea turtles there now require human intervention to make sure that they make it to the sea. So people are keeping an eye on the eggs every night, and when they hatch, they have to collect them into buckets and make sure they get into the sea. But there was a recent case study in Florida who had the exact same issue. And so they replaced all of the street lightings with amber LEDs, so orange-coloured LEDs, and they reduced the power so they were nice and dim. And they found that in the areas that they did this, the disorientation rate of the baby sea turtles was reduced to 0. So there's a direct link between the colour found in the light and the disorientation of the sea turtles. And it's not just wildlife as well, it's humans. Now humans and wildlife alike have spent millions of years evolving based on this continuous cycle of night and day, of darkness and lightness. And we have something called circadian rhythms, which controls our hormones. And what we find is that the sensitivity of the circadian rhythm, which is this dotted line here, is very much within the blue colour, the blue spectrum of light. And these blue-rich LEDs, you can see with a thick black line, is very much affecting our circadian rhythms. And so what you find is that people who have had these LEDs installed outside their bedroom windows on the streets, they're struggling to sleep. And the reason being is that a lack of blue light triggers the production of something called melatonin. Melatonin is a chemical that is responsible for making you sleepy. And exposure to this blue light means that your body doesn't produce melatonin and you struggle to sleep and your circadian rhythm is completely thrown off. And there are far more serious implications when your circadian rhythm is messed up with, and there are links to heart disease, to depression, and to a number of cancers, in particular breast cancer. There's a strong link between a lack of melatonin and breast cancer. So there's some serious risks and issues with humans as well, and we're only now starting to uncover the problems because it's very much a new problem, and we haven't had enough time to put the research.
Consequences of light pollution, often overlooked during the widespread adoption of new technologies, now demand our attention. Just as with many other innovations, the environmental and health impacts were not thoroughly assessed before integration globally. Today, we find ourselves grappling with the repercussions. To mitigate the effects of light pollution, a crucial step is to cultivate awareness during the introduction of new inventions. We must consider their long-term impacts on both the environment and human health. Fortunately, tackling light pollution is well within our reach through the adoption of responsible lighting practices, the enactment of dark sky-friendly legislation, and the enthusiastic promotion of advanced scientific research in the field. So, here are 5 super simple things you can do. Don't use lights brighter than you need to. Don't use lights when you don't need them. Those lights you're using, make sure they're shielded down, so they're not shining up into the sky. And let's talk about LED lights. If you have a choice, don't buy the blue ones. Look for words like warm white. If you buy LEDs with words like natural light or daylight, that's like saying you hate space. And finally, you could advocate for this. Even in your local community, find out if there's a lighting code and whether it could be made more night sky friendly. Or dare I say, you could even advocate at the federal level by politely asking our federal officials to please not auction off our view of the invisible universe to the highest bidder to pollute at will, which is actually what happens. Now, here is a homework assignment for you. If you have never seen a truly dark night sky, I want you to go out and experience one for yourself. Because if you don't know what you're missing, and you don't know what humanity is losing. If you found this video enlightening, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Together, let's create a future where both our cities and our night skies shine in harmony. Thank you.